Yes, guys, we can move forward. So remember that we were talking about access control list. And today we are going to move forward again, right? But we are going to do more exercises and tomorrow again, like in order for you to understand better and to master the configurations, right? So I'll try to share my screen. So we are going to talk about access control list. Remember that those are the rules that you are going to use, or your routers and switches are going to use in order to check the traffic, right? Now, we have two types of access control lists, right? We do have what we call, let me say it like types. We have what we call numbered and named. Type of ACLs. So those are the two types, right? So there is an access control list that you can identify using a number, and there is an access control list that you can identify using a name, right? So how to type number is like this. Is it correct? There's an E missing. Yeah. Okay, let's first take this one. So this one means your access control list will be identified using what? Numbers. Using numbers. And for this one, your access control lists will be like identified using names. This is the difference, right? Numbered the ACL and named ACL. So this is the major differences, right? For numbered access control lists, you are going to know it by seeing the number. You are going to identify your access control lists by using numbers. But with named access control lists, you are going to identify it by using a name. Let me take an example here. So you can say like access list, maybe 10. Or you can also say like access list, right? Those are like some of the examples. But when you go for named, let's remove those lines. Guys, it's clear. You see here, my access control list. So I'm using what? Numbers, right? But here I'm gonna use names, like instead of numbers, so I'm gonna use names, right? Like what? So I can say like IP, so access list, like standard. My name, it's gonna be maybe, okay. Yeah, so this is the comment. I can say maybe name block Facebook, right? So this is like just a name. So your access list will be identified by what? By a name, not by using a specific number. Now, let's see some benefits of using this named benefit. Like benefits of using like a named access control list. What are the benefits when you go for names instead of using numbers, right? First, it's easy to remember. So it's easy to remember, right? Because when you say my access list, it's block Facebook. So it's so easy like to go to the router, just check like block Facebook, you will see the rules that are there. What are the hosts that you blocked, like access like to Facebook and so on. So it's gonna be so easy. You can say maybe my access list, it's what? Block gmail.com or block this. So just by name will remind you what you are looking for, right? So it's easy to remember. Using names instead of numbers. So you are using names like instead of numbers. Number 3, right? Easy to delete. You can delete so easily, like an access control list, like one of the statements, like under your access control list. It's so easy to delete, right? So I can have like deny host, permit, deny. It's so easy for me to go and to remove one of the statements. We're gonna see how to do it, right? Easy to delete. Number 4, easy to move between statements, right? Right? So when you have like permits, like deny, I can move so easily to one of the statements, right? I can go to the middle and change, right? So I can go to the middle and change my statement. Like this example, let me give you an example. I can have like, let's say, the permits, host, like 10.0.0.1. Maybe I have like okay. Let's say I have like three statements here. 1, 2, 3, right? So it's so easy for me to add a new one, like in the middle. So I can add here, like a new one, so easily. This is what I'm talking about, the update. So I can add something here, like in the middle of my three statements. So I can add one. So it's so easy for me like to move between statements that you cannot do with numbered one. So with named one, you can move between like statement. You can delete. Suppose like I wanna delete one of them. When I want to delete, so I can just say no permits this, right? When I wanna delete, right? And named access list are case sensitive. Case sensitive means what? You can use lower cases or upper cases, still the same, right? Means this. Somebody can write this, and like somebody can write this. It's the same thing. This is case sensitive. I already open it there, the new document. Let me check. This English can give me like a problem. Maybe I'm wrong. Case sensitive, it can be like that one and this one, it's different, right? I'm checking. You have to understand me. I'm a French speaker. The word sometimes it's giving me like trouble, but you understand. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Now, guys, let's do some exercises, right? We are going to see how you can create your access control list using names instead of numbers. So we're going to repeat it 5 times in order for you to understand. So I'm going to drag and drop 5 routers and 5 PCs, right? Just like to make sure like everybody understood, right? So router number 1, number 2, number 3. Number 3 is fine because 5 is too much again. Okay, 3 for you is not like too much because you have to master the concept. Yes, I'm gonna plug my computers here, right? Just repeating the same things, but like different cases, like in order for you to understand, right? Like here, the name of my access list will be CCNA 1. Right? For this one, I can give it the name block, like block access. For this one, I can give like name maybe block only or CCNA 3. just names, right? Those are just the names that I'm gonna, right? So I'm gonna block these guys. Block. Okay, this one I can permit, just change some of the things. So this one we're gonna permit. This one too we're gonna permit, right? The IP address for this network, 192.168.1.0/24. 192.168.2.0/24. 192.168.3/24. Right? So I'm gonna go to every computer, like I'm gonna assign an IP address, 192.168.1.2, my subnet mask. One 192.168.2.2, 192.168.2.1. 192.168.3.2, 192.168.1.3.1. When I'm done, what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna bring like all the interfaces, those three interfaces up, and I'm gonna give them the IP like addresses. This one, and you know what to do from here. So there's no need for me to go slowly. Like IP address, 192.168.1.1, subnet mask. Because you know already what I to do. You know everything, so there is no need for me to waste my time, as you know already. So I will go to the next one, because small mistake, the video will be very long. Interface, which interface I'm dealing with? 0/0/0. My IP address, 192.168.2.1, 255.255.0, no shot, exit, do right, I'm gonna save, the same as you come here, which port, okay. One 192.168.3.1, 255.255.0. The interface, and you are right. I was not interface. Okay. Fine. No shot. Exits. Do right. Okay. Right. So I'm gonna try to ping my default gateway. 192.168.1.1. Okay, it's fine there. I'm gonna come here, do the same things. 168.2.1. It's fine. I'm gonna come also here. 192.168.3.1. It's fine. Okay. Now we are going to start creating those access control lists using names. So I'm gonna repeat the same things 3 times on 3 different routers. Why am I taking 3 routers? Like, in order for you like to practice with router number 1, router number 2, and router number 3. The same things we are repeating 3 times. for you to understand better before moving forward, right? So what we're gonna do now, I'm gonna go like, I want to block this host, right? Maybe from accessing like another host from this network. So I don't wanna make it big, right? So I don't wanna add like another host. But I'm gonna block this host by using the access control list, but not the one that we are going to use numbers, the one that we're gonna use names, all right? So you go to your router, right? From here, right? For you to create your access control list that will block this host by using a name, what you must do, the only difference, you cannot start with access list. You are starting with IP access. You're gonna say like IP access list, right? You remember previously we always start with access list, but with named one, you have to start with IP. Now, from here, you don't need just to memorize. You can go for question mark to see the options that will come like after this IP access list. You ask, what can I add like after IP access list, right? You have to precise now. You wanna go for standard or you wanna go for extended, right? So your access list will be a standard or an extended. But how you gonna identify it? By using a name. So now you're gonna say, okay, we want a standard, right? I want a standard. You're gonna ask again, what come next, right? You wanna use a number or you wanna use a name? I wanna use a name. I want to identify my access control list by using a name, not a number. Now you're gonna say, which name? I will call it CCNA 1. Because like on your router, or maybe like on your switch, you will have so many rules. Block this, permit this. But how you gonna identify it? Or identify them? It's so easy by using names. So when you're gonna say CCNA 1, CCNA 1, it means allowing every student go to Facebook. When you're gonna say CCNA this, right? Or maybe you can give it your access control list, my husband, means block him from this website. Or give him access to the network for 2 hours, right? So just something that can remind you instead of using numbers. So CCNA 1, right? Now under here, you can check the options that you wanna do. But remember, you can go straight to the action. You wanna permit or you wanna deny. But for you to see the options that comes like after this, question mark. So those are the options that you can go for. Now you're gonna say, no, I want to deny this guy. So what you're gonna pick up here? Deny. You can say, okay, I want to deny. Now you said, okay, what's gonna come like after? Because I want to deny. You have to ask, question mark maybe. But if you know it, you can just go for. So there are 3 options that you can go for, right? You can go for it, for this guy's computer's IP. This is this one. You can punch his IP here. Or you can precise host. Because this one is gonna be so easy, because when you go for this one, you have to add the subnet mask, right? But it's so easy just like to say what? Host, which host? 192.168.1.2, right? You understand? When you go for host, there is no need for you to precise the subnet mask or the wildcard mask. This is the difference. But if you said deny 192.168.1.2, you must put the subnet mask 0.0.0.0. But if you don't want to put that one, you must go for host, right? Now, let's say from here, you have other computers that you want to permit or to deny. You can carry on here. You can say again what? Deny. Maybe there's another computer here, right? You understand? Maybe there's another computer here on this network, like again. You can do the same again, right? So it depends to your different case, to your own case. You can deny so many devices, right? But remember, when you finish, you have to permit like anything else. This is how the access control list. When you block something, at the end, you have to finish up with what? It's permits. But because we are talking about just one host, you can just say the permits, like any. Permit any means what? Block those 3 hosts, but anything else, give access. This is the meaning. Because if you don't finish up with permit, means it's gonna block anything that's gonna come down. It's gonna block anything. So you have to finish up with permit, right? Now, we are done, right? You understand, guys? Now, you can even, now we're gonna move like forward, right? Which interface we are dealing with? The gigabit 0/0/Z. We're gonna exit first. Interface. Which interface we're gonna apply? Maybe 0/0/, right? It's IP access group, right? It's IP access group. You weren't gonna go for number. You're gonna go for what? Name. What was the name? CCNA one, right? You're gonna ask, there is something else. Yes. This one, you wanna block whatever that's gonna come from here to the router. So it's the in, right? And you press what? You can ask if there is something more. No, CR means you are done. You press what? Right? No, the communication will come from where? From the computer to the router. It's coming in, right? So it's not the one that goes out from the router. Now, because we are done, you can check your access control list by saying what? Do show access. Maybe somebody's telling you, no, I cannot access this website. I cannot access the server. I cannot do this. It's so easy. Just go to the router. You can check the restrictions. That computer, is it permitted or denied, right? Do show access list. You can see all your access list, right? Suppose like I want to delete one of the access lists. You can see the numbers like here before. Did we put those numbers? No. It came what? Automatically, right? According to the order, the way you've been configuring them. You started with the first one was this one, like the second one, and so they gave it a specific number, right? Like 10, 20, like 30, and 40. So when this computer will try to access the router will check the rules. The router will check the access list by starting with what? The first one, like sequentially. By the 10, 20, like 30, and 40. Suppose like one computer is trying to access the router so will check your IP first. From here, are you this one? No. Are you this one? No. Are you this one? No. What now is saying permit. But if you are one of this one, it's gonna block you, right? So it's gonna check. Now let's say I want to delete this 20, right? You can just say like, okay, first you must be like under the access control list, right? You can exit first. So it's IP access list what? CCNA? What was the name again? I forgot the name of. Oh, CCNA one, eh? Okay. I know what I can do. I can call the comment that I've done like previously. Yes. We can say what? No what? No deny host. I can say no deny host this one, right? No deny host. I want to take it out, right? You press enter, right? So I'm showing you how you can go to one of the access lists and delete it, right? Maybe you say, no, this is the one that's blocking this guy from accessing this particular service or this computer and so on. You can take it out, right? Let's check again. Do show access list to see if it's gone. Did you see it again? It's gone. This is how you can delete like an access list, right? Suppose like you wanna add like a new one, a new access list, right? No, a new rule or new statement, but you want your statement to be between what? Like between 10 and what? Like and 30, right? You can also do that. You can also say just 25 deny host 192.168 maybe .5.6, right? And you press what? You understand? You are picking up like the number that is between what? Like 10 and 30, because you want it like to come like after, like in the middle. Why? Because the way the access list works, so it's working by checking the order, right? Lower number will be checked first. So you want your access list first by start like checking this like this host, this one, and so on. Okay, let's verify again. Do show. What did you see? The 25 goes to the second place where you want it like to be, right? Now you see the advantage of using what? Named access control list. It's very easy for you to go from one to left, from up to down, for you to delete, for you to play around with your access control list. You can remember your access control list so easily, right? Now what we're gonna do, guys, so we're gonna go to router number 2. We're gonna repeat again the same things. Whatever that we did here, like in terms of deleting, like in terms of adding new statement. When we are done with the second one, we're gonna move to the third one again, repeating the same things. Trying to practice again, like in order for you to understand what we want to achieve. I don't wanna go for testing part and so on, because you know already like it's gonna work, right? Okay. Now we're gonna go to router number 2. We are going to practice again. We are going to permit. If you never like understood from the router number 1, please, you can start with me with router number 2, right? And if you don't have it, I'm gonna give you like 1 or 2 seconds to finish up. Just have one router and you can have one PC and we can start, right? My friend, are you ready? Okay, we go to this router, right? You must be where? You must be here. You must be in global configuration mode, right? Everybody's here. Yeah. All right. You must be here and wait for me. Yeah. All right. Don't do like these guys, 100% of some of the guys, 70% wrote the CCNA without knowing 70% of the content. Maybe they knew 40. And this is a big problem because because of the corruption. So don't prepare yourself because you know, like you have your cousin, you have your brother. Whatever that you don't know will catch you one day. You can work, but you don't deserve. They can fire you even after 10 years. They will still fire you. So if you get something that you don't deserve, later, even later before dying, so it will catch you. So no needs for you to get something for mahala, for free, that you don't deserve. Okay, we want to permit this computer from accessing like a specific service or a specific computer, right? But we said we want some rules, right? We want to permit like this computer. But if I'm using a number, so it's going to be very hard for me to remember that number, maybe after 2 years. So I want to know, what does this mean by access list 20, 50? What was there? But if you say access list, maybe your access list was permit access to the server. It's very easy for you to remember. So we're going to use the named one. So how you going to start? You just say like IP access list, right? First, you just say IP access list. When you are done from here, right? Because your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband can give you a headache, you can forget what comes next. But you have a question mark that will remind you. You are not obliged to memorize. You go to question mark. You ask, right? What comes like after my IP access list? You said, okay, which one I want? So I want standard or extended, right? You said, okay, let me go for standard. You're gonna say standard, IP access list standard. Why? Because maybe I wanna block or permit based on a source IP only, right? Now from here, as you are not a robot again, or you are not a memory card to keep your stuff the way it was when you saved it, you're gonna ask again, what come like after? I want to identify my statements, my rules, by using numbers or name. You say, no, I want a name. My name gonna be permit. I can make it short. Permit saver. You just make it short, huh? So you said, my access list will be permit saver. So you as a specialist, every time you go to the router, you're gonna check your statement, you're gonna check your access control list. Just by saying permit saver, you can remember everything, no matter how many things you permit from there, right? And you're gonna press what? You can ask what comes like after. IP access list standard permits. You press like what? Like enter, right? Now, what are the computers? What are the hosts? Not only computers. You can permit the cameras, you can permit like anything. What do you want to permit? Right? We want to permit this computer, right? Now you said, normally you want like an action, permit or deny. But if you forgot, just use the question mark. Now you're gonna say, no, yes, I'm looking what? Permits, right? Now you're gonna type here, permits, right? Permit what? Which host you wanna permit, right? You can go by precising the IP address of that host, but remember, when you go for IP address, you must precise the subnet mask, the 0.0.0.0, when you go for a single host or for the entire network. But you said, okay, what comes here? What are the options that I can use like after permit? You say, no, I don't want to add the subnet mask and so on. Let me just say what host. Which host? This host, the IP address of this host was this one. And you are done. Permit host 192.168.2.2, right? You understand? Suppose like you have like other hosts, right? Like here, guys, suppose like I have like a switch here, right? Now I'm gonna change this one, maybe it goes there, and maybe this one now goes there, right? Suppose like I have like other computers there that I wanna permit also. Right? Suppose like my IPs there, they are what? I'm just increasing. Maybe 192.168, all right? .3, no, .2.3, 192.168.2.1, right? And this one too, it's, you can give your own IP. There is no need just for me. 192.168.3.4, 192.168.2.1, right? Suppose like you have these, like 3 computers. When you are here, right, you are going to say what? Because there is another host you want to permit. You're going to just say what? 3, right? When you are done, there is another one. You're going to say what? 4, right? And when you are done, right, remember that for every access like control list, you have to finish up with what? Like permit or what? Deny, right? Because you permit those 3, they must be like the opposite of like permit. It's what? Deny. You can say maybe deny like any, right? So anything else from this network will be denied beside those 3 that you allowed, that you gave the access, right? So when you configure your statement, remember that at the end of the statement, there is always a deny or a permit, depend on what like came like previously, right? Now, when you are done, you can check your access control list. Do show access list, right? Suppose like there's a problem in your network, like some of the guys cannot be connected, maybe they are blocked, right? How can you know that? You just go and do show access list. You'll understand. You say, ah, there is one of the access lists. You are blocked. You are permitted, right? And when you want to delete one of them, we saw how to delete, right? You just say this. I can delete like this one by saying what? No permit host, this 2.4. You press enter. For you to check, you're going to see that it's not there anymore, right? It's not there because you take it out. Suppose like you want to add a new one before this 10. You can say what? Just this. Okay, let's say I want to add one. I can start with what? 5. Sometimes when you want to configure your access list, you can also start with numbers, like 5 space, like permit, 10. You press enter. You can verify. Hey, where is it? Do show. You're gonna see it's there, right? You see how flexible it's. You can delete something, you can add, right? Did you understand? Everything is easy, like how to drink water. It's so easy. Nobody can come and tell you, you can be sleeping, you can wake up in the morning, you know the story, right? Now you have to configure, you have to apply, when you create an access list, you have to apply it to an interface. This is the last step. Your access list needs to be like applied to one of the interface, the inbound or the outbound. This is how you have to finish it. You cannot just do it and stop and nothing will happen because you are not like applying it to an interface. Are you done, my friend? Don't look at me like that. Don't remember about what happened yesterday. Eh? She's thinking about what happened. Like, maybe she ate nice food. You will never know. Interface. Now we're gonna apply our permit server to an interface because the access list will be checked before coming to the router or before going out. So it needs to be applied to an interface. Eh, what happened? Yes, thank you. Like this? Yes. Now, what I'm gonna say, IP access group. You can ask, there's a name. What was our name? Permit server, right? You can ask what come after. C, the direction. You must always ask the direction. I wanna check what goes out or what comes like in, because these guys, they will try to access. So the request will come like this. It's gonna come from this PC up to. So it's something that comes in that you want to permit or restrict. It's not what will be going out. You can try to block from going out. It depends on what you are looking for. So you're gonna say what? In, right? And when you say do show run, you wanna check from where your access control list was applied. Do show run, when you go down, you can see here, Jonathan, you can see that you can say, like under this interface, there is an access control list that is applied on it, right? But if you wanna know those access control lists now, do show access list, right? If there's anything that is difficult here, you can see that the named one, it's much easier, right? Guys, we're gonna go to the third router. The third router, I'm gonna use the extended one, right? Like in order for you also to master the extended one, right? We're gonna go here, we're gonna use the extended now, like enable, conf-t, right? Always remember, you must start with IP access list, question mark, you want the extended one, question mark, what's gonna be, right? Block web. So I can give it a name. So I want to block web pages, right? So you don't want like anybody to access like a single website or like anything that deal with web pages. You are blocking, right? my kids, my wife, my girlfriends, they will be in trouble. My place, you try this one not working, try this one not working. I'm just keeping quiet. Maybe if you two, you are an IT person, maybe you, not an IT, but somebody who did networking. Blocking everything from your phone, from whatever, checking you from wherever I am. So you are stuck, your location, everything. It's, yeah, because you guys trust sometimes don't work, especially on the woman's side. So to say that. Blocking you from anything from my place. So just letting you the minimum. Whatever you are doing at home, you go to like to any site, I can watch you from wherever I am. No games, Love doesn't mean trust. Trust is another thing. You can have 100% love, but trust, it's 0%. Love doesn't mean not checking. You can love, but you have to check. There's a difference between loving and checking. Checking it every second, no time to waste. IP access list extended, especially you guys who got kids. You must start blocking most of the websites because kids, they like to go to porn sites and they are starting from being discouraged about life because they are learning about so many wrong things. Like TikTok must be blocked. You cannot let your kids go into TikTok, all those kind of things. Especially TikTok from Africa. They always show us bumps, right? But if you go like TikTok from Chinese, they are showing what they are creating, right? They are showing nice things. But from Africa, on TikTok, we can only see bumps. I don't know what they want us to do now. They want us to buy, or I don't know what's happening on TikTok now. Ish, guys. IP access list like extended. We want to block some web pages. Now, what we're going to do, if you forgot again, what like to do from here, question mark is there to assist you, right? So I want to deny, right? But remember, the extended one, Jonathan, because we are talking about the extended one, remember that there must be source and the destination, right? You cannot only precise the, right? You have to remember that there's a source, there's a destination. I have to precise maybe like the protocol. Maybe I can precise the time frame. You can set up like at home, like everybody can only like access the internet maybe from 6 or from 8 to 6 p.m. The kids will start saying, hey, there's no internet. Hey, just keep quiet. You know, like from this time, you have to sleep, you have to study. There's no time to discuss with your kids, go and study, or don't use your phone. You know yourself what you've done. From 6 p.m., there's no internet, right? Okay, we're gonna deny what? We want to deny a service. Because we wanna deny a service, we can pick up the TCP because all those services fall under what? TCP. So I'm gonna say, because I want web pages, we are talking about a protocol. We are talking about the HTTP or HTTPS. But that protocol fall under the TCP. Now you ask, the TCP I wanna block, from which host? You can go for IP, but remember when you go for IP, you have to precise what? Subnet mask or wildcard mask. The easiest way, you can go for what? Host. Now, which host? You must precise what? The source, right? You can say 192.168, my man, I don't want you to go to something, to my web, to the web pages, right? Now, when you are done, you can say what? Question mark, right? Right? suppose like you can take this one, EQ, equally. The EQ means equally. So anything that is equal to the web pages. What is the port number? Maybe it's 80 or 443. So you can say, deny the protocol from this computer, right? But which protocol, like, exactly, right? Which one you wanna block? The EQ means something that it's equal to. You wanna block what, right? You can go for numbers. Every service that we are using, you know, guys, when you go to emails, which protocol for emails? There's a simple mail transfer protocol. You can block the DHCP, you can block anything, but you must know the port number. Like here, guys. Like you can say port number for emails. All right? You see? So when you are blocking the port 25, means the emails will never work. Will never working. So for any service that we are using when we are dealing with networking and so on, there's a specific number that identifies the service, right? Like file transfer protocol for transferring files. Which protocol? Maybe for assigning the IPs like automatically, DHCP, like port numbers. So easily, you can get it here. You see, you can block, like if nobody can get the IPs, you can get my Wi-Fi password, but you cannot be connected because you don't get the IP, right? So I can block the 443 or like 80. So if you forgot, you can come here. Web, like pages, like port numbers, right? You can see the 80 and the 443, they are there, right? Whatever you wanna block, you can check the port numbers for the service you wanna use, right? So I can come here, so I can say what? You can ask, it means you can go for a number. 443 means you as a specialist, you know 443 means what? Web pages, the protected one. And you say what? I'm not done. From which computer, right? So I wanna block this computer from accessing the web, the pages, but using which server, right? Host, which host? The server one, or the router IP. Maybe I can say, because we don't have it, maybe I can say this one, right? Because you have source and destination, right? Guys, I have one server or one router, and I have one host. I wanna block this host from accessing what? This router's web pages. So I don't want this router to give access to this host to web pages. So I have to precise from which computer I wanna block this one, right? Or from which router I wanna block, router's IP or server's IP, right? And you can ask again. So if you are done or not, right? You can limit, like from here, and you say what? Enter. And remember that you have to finish with what? Permit. Because we are denying, we have to finish up with the opposite. Permitting like anything else. Because if you leave it like this, it will block everybody. That's why you have to finish with what? The permit, right? You permit the IP to any. The any means what? To any source going to any destination. The extended, there are two any. Standard is only one any. Because the extended, we are talking about source and destination. You must precise which one you wanna block from using which device. Which device is IP? This is the meaning of any. So you are permitting any IP, you are permitting any web pages, From where? From any device going to any, besides this one. And when you are done, remember that your access list must be applied to an interface. This is the way you have to finish. Not just doing it like this and it won't gonna work. You have to apply it to this interface, to whatever that's gonna come in. So means you exit first and you say my interface, right? IP, like access group. What was like our name? Like permit saver, right? And you're gonna ask the in or out, like anything that will come in. And you say in, and you are done. Do show run for checking which interface you applied your access control list, right? Guys, and when you're gonna be like alone, I want you to practice. You must work using the standard one or using the extended, like two of them. But remember, when you are using a real router, you will have so many options, not only by saying the IPs, there are so many because everything is clear. There are so many, right? Do show run, it's just for you to verify which interface you applied your access control list. When you go down, you can see here, it's here, right? And when you wanna learn about the standard, your access control list that have been configured, so like on this device, do show access list. You can see them there. Suppose like there's a problem. Why this computer cannot go to the internet? Why the email is not working? Maybe it's blocked, right? You have to verify the access list like on your devices by saying, do show when you are using a wrong mode, or from the privilege mode, show access list, right? This is the end of my recording. Before going home, go to real cases. You have one router, you have a server, you have some computers here. You are trying to block them using the named access list. And from your scenario, remember that you have to precise. You wanna give like access or you wanna deny like access using a named access control list because it's easy to remember, like easy to update, right? So from your scenario, you have to precise why did you go for named access control list, and you have to precise your steps as Tuli did yesterday. Thank you very much.